Hey guys, it's Maya. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be Hey guys, it's Maya. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my first pin haul. I have been collecting pins only since the beginning of my DCP, which was in August. I was merchandise, so you can't help but start pin trading. So I'm going to go over some of the ones I got out of my college program and some of the ones I've gotten on previous trips to Disney. And I'm here with my sister Chloe, and she's going to go over some of the pins she has as well. So let's jump right into it. So to start, I'm going to go over the pins that are on my backpack that I use for university. These are all pins I got on my recent trip to Disney 2 years ago for Thanksgiving. It was our first big trip to Disney since we were like 11, so I wanted to get a lot of pins to commemorate the occasion. The first pins that I ever got were the Pride Mickey ears and the Flynn Rider pin. These I got at Disney Quest when Disney Quest was still open in Disney Springs. Besides that, what we got in the parks, I got a Hollywood Studios pin, an Animal Kingdom pin, and a Magic Kingdom pin. We also went to Epcot, but we were only there for like an hour, and it was before I really liked Epcot, so I didn't really care. Then also from Hollywood Studios, I have the Tower of Terror pin. Tower of Terror is my favorite ride, and you'll notice that when we get into the bigger pin selection. Then I also have the Hitchhiking Ghost, and then I also have a grape soda pin, which has seen better days. It's been on my backpack for a very long time, so it's a little scratched up. And finally, the last one that I have on my backpack is my Tomorrowland pin. You get this in there's a secret way to get it, and it's if you talk to a cast member outside of Test Track where they're surveying you on types of cars that you like. We were just kind of like, hey, is this where you get the special Tomorrowland pins? And she was like, yeah. So we just did a little survey, and she gave us our pins. And I lied, there is one more. I have this Pop Vinyl C-3PO that I got from Disney Movie Rewards, and apparently it is, they're not going to be selling it anymore, so it might be a little bit limited edition sooner or later. So that's everything I have on my backpack. Now let's get on my pin board, which is everything I collected on my college program. And now we're on to my giant pin board. This is all things that I collected while on my college program. Something about the way that I collect pins, I don't really just get pins that I like. I kind of collect certain characters, and you'll notice that as we start going through it. So I think the first pins we are going to start with are my Rapunzel pins, because I think those are the ones I have the least of. So I have this pin of Rapunzel with her lantern that I bought, and I'm also going to tell you whether I bought it or I traded it. Then I have this Pascal pin from Tangled the Series, which I also bought. This Rapunzel from Tangled the Series pin, which I bought. And then this last Rapunzel pin that comes from a mystery pack that I also bought. A lot of these are traded, I promise. We'll get there. Next, we are going to go to my Sleeping Beauty pins. This is where the collection starts growing a little bit more. So for Sleeping Beauty, I have her shoe that I traded. I have this pin of Philip and Aurora that I also traded. This pin of Aurora that I traded. This Philip pin that I traded. Another Aurora pin that I traded. It's from the same pack as the Rapunzel pin. This, the fakest pin I think I own in my whole collection, but it's fine. I just liked it because it was Sassy Aurora. But I traded this one as well. Another very fake pin of Philip that I traded. How about y'all assume that it's traded, and I'll say if I bought it. This beautiful Aurora pin, and then these three pins all came from the Russian nesting doll set, which I'm starting to collect. Hopefully when we go to Disney in a few weeks, I can get a few of them as well. But from this pack, I only have Merryweather, Fauna, and Aurora. Next, we go on to my Tiana pins. For Tiana, I also have a shoe for her, and then this cameo Tiana pin that my roommate Mackenzie actually saved for me when she was working. She saw it and she kind of put it at the top of her lanyard so that she could save it for me. Then this Tiana pin that's from the Doodle collection, this butterfly Tiana pin, and I was so close to getting the Aurora from this set, but right when I was going to ask my coworker to put that pin on hold for me, a guest asked to trade it, and obviously the guests have priority, so I just watched with sad eyes as it was traded away. Then we have this Tiana set, which is from the same set as the Aurora and Rapunzel one, and then lastly, this gorgeous glittery Tiana pin that Mackenzie also saved for me because at World of Disney they are getting Really good pins. Now let's get to my biggest collection, which is Pinocchio. Pinocchio is one of my favorite Disney movies, and it was one of my goals on my college program to collect a lot of Pinocchio pins. So let's get started. This Pinocchio and Jiminy pin comes from a best friend set. It's like $35. The only reason I bought the set was literally for this pin, and of course when I bought it, I didn't get it. So at Epcot, they actually have guests who will set up pin trading tables over, if you walk past Spaceship Earth on the right side, over in front of Club Cool, they'll set up tables for pin trading. So thankfully, they had 2 of these Pinocchio pins and they traded me for it, so I got it. It's probably my favorite pin. Then this t-shirt Pinocchio that I traded with a custodial cast member in the bathroom. This actually comes with a very cute story, this Mickey Mouse Pinocchio pin. So I was working at superhero headquarters in Disney Springs, and I was talking to my coworker Tommy, who's one of the sweetest full-timers ever, and I was telling him how I kind of wanted to start collecting Pinocchio pins, and I didn't really have any at the time. It was very early into my program. And this guy comes in, this guest, with like a whole booklet of pins, and Tommy's like, Maya, come over here, come over here. So I go over and he's like, hey, he's not trading this, but look how cool this Pinocchio pin is. So I look at it and I'm like, oh, it is really cool. I tell the guests how I want to start collecting Pinocchio pins. And they're like, all right, no, go get back to work. And I'm like, okay. So I go stand at the register. Then all of a sudden, another coworker of mine comes up to me and hands me the Pinocchio pin and is like, don't say anything, trade a pin with me. And I was like, okay. So I take one of the pins off my lanyard and trade it with her. And I'm like, what just happened? And I go over to Tommy. I'm like, what did you do? And apparently my coworker had a really cool pin that the guest wanted to trade her for. And Tommy kind of whispered in his ear and was like, hey, this is a really good pin. I think it's worth trading the Pinocchio one for. So he made sure I got that pin. So it's one of my most favorite ones because it comes with a memory and because it's Pinocchio. Next, we just have this little Pinocchio hat, then a Jiminy with a Mickey ear hat, a Duffy pin wearing a Pinocchio ear hat, a little robot Pinocchio that I also got from Tommy, who he always held on to Pinocchio pins if he thought I didn't have it, a Jiminy bottle cap, and this Hong Kong Disneyland Pinocchio. Both of these I got from, there's a little gift outlet next to Vista Way, and we just kind of went there for fun one time. I think it was because my roommate was looking for a Halloween costume for the Halloween party. And they have all of these super cheap pins. They look real. I don't know if they're fake. They might be, but I feel like I'm pretty good at spotting fake pins. And I think they're real and they're really cool. So I got those for really, really cheap. Then we have the Zoom Zoom Jiminy. And then 2 pretty normal Jiminy pins, full body ones. Then this is one of the few pins I bought. And it is a official Conscious Guide pin. And if you open it, it has Jiminy's cute little face on it. It was one of the first pins I bought. Then I have a few Figaro ones. This Figaro one I actually was close to buying. It's from a set of around 5 and it's a Disney Cats. And I have been looking for it forever. It was nearing the end of my program and I still hadn't gotten it. So I'm like, honestly, I might just buy the set and then trade the other ones. And as I'm literally like in the store going to buy the set, a cast member walks by me and I see the pin on her pin lanyard. I'm like, wait, stop! And she's like, what? I'm like, can I please trade that pin? And she's like, how did you see that? I'm like, it was luck, honestly, but another one of my favorite pins because I love Figaro. Then this Figaro fish pin, which I got from the sweetest little boy in Star Wars. He had it on his lanyard and I just said that I really loved Figaro and I was collecting Pinocchio pins. And he just gave it to me. Like, he took it off his lanyard and handed it to me. I'm like, no, you so don't have to do that. Only trade the ones you want to trade. And he's like, no, it's fine. I was going to trade it anyway, so I got to have that. Then this Figaro on a dog tag pin, which I also have one similar to it for 101 Dalmatians. And then this Figaro safety clip pin. And that is the gist of my Pinocchio pins. Alright, and next we go on to my next collection, which is 101 Dalmatians, my other favorite Disney movie. So I have this big Dalmatian donut. Then this is probably my favorite pin out of all of them. It is this diamond pin with Pongo and Perdita on it, and my friend Riley actually held it for me, which I thought was amazing. A lot of these pins, especially the 101 Dalmatian ones, were held for me by other coworkers when they found them, which is awesome because I was loud about the pins I collected so that everyone could hold them for me if they found them. Then we have this Cruella pin. Then this pin of one of the puppies, which I think is adorable and it's pretty big. This Cruella pin, this Lucky pin, which is also like the dog tag that I have on my Figaro one. Then this Mickey head with the Dalmatian spots on it. I have one from the same set of my Pinocchio one. Then this puppy Mickey hat one. This dog bone one, which is also fake sadly, but it's cute. And then one of the other pins that I bought, which is this Pongo and Perdita one. It was one of the first pins I bought. It is the only 101 Dalmatians pin you can buy in the park that's not Cruella, that's of the dogs. And that is it for my 101 Dalmatians collection. Next, I only have 4 of these, but I have a little collection of Frozen pins. I am not the biggest fan of Frozen, but I was a huge fan of Frozen Sing-Along, any of you guys who know me. So I got a few Frozen pins to commemorate that. First, I have this Sven pin that my friend Gwen actually gave to me at Secret Santa at the end of our program, which I love. Then I have this Olaf pin, which is from Olaf's Frozen Adventure, and that short and Coco came out while I was on my program, so I had to get it. Then I have this pretty big Frozen Ever After pin. I got it after the first time I rode Frozen Ever After, and I actually only got to ride that ride twice. So I had to commemorate the event with this pin. It's also one of the only pins you can get with Kristoff on it, and Kristoff is one of my favorite characters. Then I have this beautiful Anna pin that I actually got while I was at work. Someone traded it with me. And lastly, this Kristoff pin. It is the second and only Kristoff pin you can get in the parks, but it comes on this big lanyard, so you have to buy like a $30 set to get it. But thankfully, while at Epcot trading with a guest, they had it, and we just kind of got along well. We were telling them that we were cast members and all that. So they were really sweet and traded our crappy pins. I was with my friend Riley. She got a really cool Beauty and the Beast one, and I was able to get this Kristoff one. Okay, next, it's kind of when it gets a little bit miscellaneous, because the only things I really collected were Sleeping Beauty, Tiana, Pinocchio, and 101 Dalmatians. The rest are kind of just random. This first one is a Disney College Program pin that I found in our pin box at Marvel Superhero Headquarters, so I went ahead and traded a pin for it. Then I have these 2 MU pins. It was the first thing I bought when I got my Blue ID, when I got that 20% off before it was 40. I shouldn't have bought anything, but it's fine. I was excited because I had my Blue ID, and these were the 2 that I wanted, so I'm very happy with those. Then I have these 2 Tower of Terror pins. Tower of Terror is my favorite ride, and both of them were saved for me by my friend Kyle. And I love these pins because you can buy the bigger one in the parks, but of course I didn't want to buy anything. And then the other one is a cast member exclusive, so I was really happy that he was able to snag that one for me. Next, I got this pack of pins at Cast Connection. They had all this set really cheap at, I'm having a stroke. They had this set really cheap at Cast Connections, and I also got a pack for my roommate Danny for Christmas. So the redhead I got in my own set, which I thought was kind of cool to have because they were taking the redhead out, which I'm happy they took the redhead out and now she is just the pirate red. But I thought it would be something cool to have since she's no longer there anymore. Then I got one that was just like a skull and crossbones on it, but Danny liked it, so we traded, and she gave me the pig one, and the pig scene is my favorite scene in Pirates of the Caribbean, so I was really happy to get that. Next, I have this huge pin. It is Maleficent during Fantasmic, and another one that Gwen saved for me because she knows I, 1, collect Sleeping Beauty pins, and that 2, I love Fantasmic so much. Then I have the 60th anniversary Disneyland pin, and this comes with a really interesting story as well. We were probably closing in like 20 minutes, so we were all really bored. The store wasn't very busy, and this guest came up, and I'm always very intrigued by guests' pins, and she had a huge binder full of pins, and we're like, oh my gosh, can you just show us your pins? Like, you don't have to trade or anything, we just want to look at them. So she's like, sure. So she opens it, and we talk for a while, and she shows us these pins that were exclusive for the Disneyland 60th anniversary, and we're like, oh, those are so cool. And she's like, honestly, I was thinking about trading them, and we're leaving tomorrow. And we're like, really? And she's like, yeah, and all of us have like horrible pins, which is what happens when you work merchandise, you only have pins. So she was just so nice. There was 4 of us that were talking to her, so she traded us our crappy pins for these Disneyland 60th anniversary pins. And I've never even been to Disneyland, but I'm obsessed with this pin because it comes with a story of an extremely kind guest. Next, I have these two Star Wars The Last Jedi pins. These came from a limited edition set that a guest traded me for. He had bought the set at my register, and he opened it and he was like, oh, I already have these two. And I was like, oh, they're really cool. And he's like, do you want them? I'm like, I mean, if you're offering them. So he traded me two, again, pretty crappy pins for them, and they're huge and they're gorgeous. Even though I like Rose, she's not really my favorite, but it was one of those things that's like, free pin. Then I have these two Star Wars pins as well. This was one of the first pins I bought. I got them when my parents and I went to Hollywood Studios before I checked in, and I'm obsessed with the design of these. I like how retro they look, and I also love how I was able to get Chewie and Luke, which were the two I wanted from the set anyway, so I've held on to these since before my program. Then I have a few more Star Wars ones. I have the limited edition BB-8 and BB-9E pins. Because I was working at Star Wars The Galactic Outpost, forgetting literally where I worked, it's fine. I knew that all of the new merchandise was coming out on premiere day of The Last Jedi, and I had the day off, and we were planning on buying some merchandise, so we ran to Tatooine Traders and grabbed these. They sold out very quick, so I feel very bougie that I have them. I have this Leia I Love You pin. My girlfriend Kate has the Han I Know one. She got it for us when she came down near the beginning of my program. Then I have this Captain Phasma pin that my roommate Brooke gave to me for Christmas. And then I have this Star Wars Premiere Day at Sea pin. It's absolutely ginormous. It was a kid came in with his little binder of pins, and he was showing me all of them, and he was like, oh, I have two of these. I'm like, oh, they're very cool. And he's like, do you want it? I'm like, is there something on my lanyard that you like? And he just so happened to, so I got this ginormous pin. I didn't have enough pins to hold on to it, so I just had to put it in my pocket so that it was safe, and I was able to trade it when I got home, and I love it because it's ginormous and it comes with a sweet memory. Then the last set of pins I have is this 6-pack of Inside Out pins. I got it when my family came down, and I was like, hey, there's this set of pins I've been wanting if I would be able to get it. So my mom said, yeah, and I got this set of Inside Out pins that I had been wanting for a while. Also, there's one I forgot. I have this lovely Country Bear Jamboree pin. I wanted to get the whole set, but they didn't sell them anymore, so I was just trying to get them through trading. Sadly, this was the only one I got. The rest of the pins, I'll just do kind of a skim through all of them on the B-roll because I don't really need to explain them because the majority of them aren't Disney, but they are a part of my collection, so you're seeing that now. We're going to Disney and Universal a few weeks from now, and we are definitely planning on getting more pins, so there will either be a part 2 to this video or I'll just edit it at the end of this. But for now, that is the end of my pins. It is ever growing, and if I hopefully get to do the program again, it will get even bigger. Now, Chloe is going to show you, she has a lot less than me, so don't worry, the video won't be much longer, but she's going to go through some of her pins. So I think only 2 of the pins on here are ones that I actually bought. So first there's this Hercules pin that says I'm kind of a big deal. Hercules is my favorite Disney movie, which you will see by a couple more pins on here. And then the other pin that I bought is this Harry Potter Felix Felicis pin. I really love the design of Felix Felicis, and it's something I would kind of like to get tattooed, so I love the design of this pin. And then the rest are ones that Maya traded for me while she was down in Disney. So we have another Hercules pin, and I really love the design of this one as well. We have a Hades pin. I guess it's was like a chin collection, but I love Hades. Those are my 2 other Hercules pins. And then the Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride, and I absolutely love Sally Slater or Daisy De La Cruz, whatever you want to call her. So getting this pin was like a huge deal, and like Maya told me about it the second she saw it and was like losing her mind about it. And then there's just a plain Walt Disney World pin. I wouldn't have traded for it, but when Maya stopped working for Disney, they didn't ask for her pin lanyard back. So I thought it was something really cool to have, just like a plain Walt Disney World pin. Something I probably wouldn't have traded for, but I really like it. Then I have a Dale pin. This was kind of like a spur of the moment trade because I love Chip way more than Dale. I actually originally put Sharpie on the nose, but since we're going back in a couple weeks, I decided to just take the Sharpie off of it and let it be Dale again so I can trade it when I go down. And last, it's also fake, so it's like,
I don't want her. And lastly, this is like one of the fakest pins ever. It was another like spur of the moment, like I was trying to just get rid of the pin type of thing before we left. And it's just a Sullivan pin from Monsters Inc. And I really like it, but again, hopefully we'll be trading it when we go down. So that's everything on that bag. And then on my backpack, I wanted to get a pin for all of my favorite rides when we went down last year because I used to hate roller coasters. So being able to go on these roller coasters was like a huge deal for me. So I have a Expedition Everest pin because that was the first time I'd ever been on the ride and I was really excited. Then I have the same goofy bellhop Tower of Terror pin that Maya has. Then I have this really sick rock and roller coaster pin because I cried my eyes out at the age of 5 to get off of the rock and roller coaster because I was so scared to go on it. So going on it was a huge, huge deal for me, so I needed to commemorate it. And then I have another Hades pin, which I think was the first pin that I got when I went down for the first time. And then I have a Space Mountain pin, again, a huge deal for me to go on like a big roller coaster like that. I have another Tomorrowland pin that I got the same way that Maya got her Tomorrowland pin. And lastly, I have also the Pride Mickey, and that's one of my first pins ever, and I absolutely love it. Alright guys, that is our pin haul. Hopefully we will have a part 2 coming soon with all of our new pins from Florida, but that's the gist of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I think I said them all. Alright, now I need to do... Oh.